Warning, the following stunts are done by trained professionals. Actually, we're not trained. Robbie is just a dumbass and decided to do a drunken fantasy football podcast. The thoughts, opinions, and takes are ours and ours only. It is not our fault if you lose in fantasy football or sports gambling. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is good, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on, Pirates and Pirates? It's your boy Rumboyz Robbie. Welcome to Rumboyz After Dark. Make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you jump off in the live chat and enjoy the comments. All right, and also help us turn that plaque up there into a silver play button. All right, I want to be able to put a silver play button up on the top of the wall here eventually, up here in Rumboyz headquarters. We have an action-packed show for you guys. We have a lot that we got to talk about. A lot has been going on in the world of sports in general. All right, but first, my partners over at Shop GLD do want to wish you all a happy opening day weekend. You see, I'm rocking my Dodgers chain. We doing the big things. You know, Shohei went dumb yesterday. Shohei went yard yesterday. Absolutely tanks. Showing y'all why you need to get your GLD. Shop GLD just like me. I'm repping my Dodgers. You guys rep your favorite MLB, NBA, NHL, NFL teams through Shop GLD. Link is down in the description. Ayo, let's take them to the yacht. Show them some of what we got.
Hop out in Miami when no land, ain't got no understanding. Out of here, I'm burning, no turn me up, you can't understand. In the club, posted up, they lit up, no matter where I'm standing. Drop GLD for the Cuban link, yeah, you see it there. Might spaz out on some taller shit, no on zero tolerance. Money conversations ain't hard to relate, it's hollering. See my net, they acknowledge it, good friend, girl, when you're not.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Want to go ahead, and I do want to bring my co-host up because it has been a long week. It's been a long week. The week has kicked our ass. It is time for a drink, ladies and gentlemen. So while I get ready for this guest, go ahead and make sure you pour up. Ladies and gentlemen, stepping up to the plate. Give it up. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop the mic, FF. What's good, buddy?
What it do? Screw this week. Let's go. Let's get it popping.
Hell yeah. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. All the boys and girls, what it do. Dilly. Rolling down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice. I am going to be sipping on the gin and juice melon flavor by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg during this first half. This is going to be interesting because I'm not like a fan of gin, but it's Dre and Snoop. So, we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna give it a go. All right. We got a lot to talk about. I ain't gonna lie, that shot just got down into the chest a little bit. We got a lot to talk about. A lot has gone down. A lot has taken place throughout the world of sports. I do want to start in the NFL. All right. I do know that March Madness is happening. We will keep you guys updated throughout the show as things progress with that. We are kind of I don't want to get too in the weeds just because we do have games going on right now.
I just switched it to the Ole Miss game so much, and I have that one on.
Yeah, I don't want to go too heavily deep in the weeds there, just because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to wait till you know things kind of you know settle out. I do want to start off with the big news in the NFL this week. Our cover athletes, Jameis Winston, famous Jameis. He sides with, you know, Saquon Barkley predicted it. He was like during that Super Bowl press conference, he was like, hey, you know, where should I sign? And then Saquon's like, the Giants. Lo and behold, Jameis Winston becomes a New York Giant. Few days later, you know, kind of, you know, fall out. And Russell Wilson, when they signed Jameis, I thought that was going to be it. Now they bring in Russell Wilson as well. So this is a now 2 QB room between Jameis. Clearly, obviously, a QB competition because no organization really wants either of these guys as their starter at this point. What are your thoughts?
All right, so I disagree with you on one thing you said, but I will bring up another point first. The point that I will bring up first is the fact that I don't think they take Shedeur now. I don't think Shedeur is going to be a Giant because you pay Russ $21 million, possibly $21 million with incentives. You pay Jameis what they did. You're not going to have a 3-quarterback room. That, even though I don't think it's the right move in the sense of these aren't the two guys to save a job, Dable and Joshin, who is the reason that they couldn't get any team to do Hard Knocks off season, is trying to save their jobs. They do have the 3rd draft pick. Part of me is thinking now that they're the ones that are going to get Travis Hunter. We'll see what happens there. But where I think you are incorrect is I don't think this is a competition. I don't think they would have paid $21 million for I think it's Russ's job. Do I think Jameis can start? Yes, but I think it's Russ's job to lose more than an open competition. I think this is going to be Russ's job. I think Jameis will get a start if Russ messes it up because they do need to save their jobs. I do think this is an upgrade no matter what for Malik Neighbors on the fantasy side of it. I do like Tyrone Tracy, but I do expect them to draft a running back later in the draft. I don't think they take Genty at 3. I think they take someone in the 2nd or 3rd round because we know the draft class is deep. But for the quarterback situation, I understand what you're saying about no one wanted either team or wanted either player or whatever, you know. But this is a perfect spot for Russ in the sense of team-wise, but it's also a perfect spot knowing who his lady is. It's a perfect spot for the high-profile him, Sierra. You know, they don't have a certain market. I mean, they're better off going there than a small market for what they, you know.
No, I mean, I agree. I agree. This probably should have been the move, and if you remember, kind of even like when like the Denver talks were going on, you know, way back in the day, that this was something that we had brought up during that time period. Even
this should have been the move. Well, I also think before I'll let you go right after this. I think what I said from the beginning that this was going to be him. Me and you both said it's probably going to be him or Rodgers until What's up, Cal? Until they made the Jameis move. But I thought if it was Russ, I would have expected it earlier in the offseason. I would have expected it right at the March deadline, not this late.
This whole situation is interesting because we go back, we go back just last week to last week's episode, even, the week previous to that, we kind of had, touched on this situation a little bit and kind of what the nuclear fallout was going to be one way or another. And instead of allowing it to be nuclear fallout, I actually kind of want to commend the New York Giants and showing for fucking once, because instead of waiting for nuclear fallout to happen, how we were reporting a week ago that this decision was hanging on Rodgers' decision. Now, we can talk about that a little bit later, but getting yourselves away from the nuclear fallout of what that could have been and waiting and becoming what Pittsburgh has now became.
We'll talk about that at a later time.
I think that the Giants were actually smarter here. It's an interesting move by the Giants, having not one, but two black quarterbacks because traditionally the Giants are very public about their opinions and thoughts on the matter. With that being said, and with that being stated, I think this is an interesting move and this is a dynamic move because, like you mentioned, you feel that Winston will eventually get the start. You know, Russ will eventually get a start. Russ will probably open up, lead the season. I am underneath the conditions right now until we get into the actual QB competition. I'm going to go ahead and go on record and state that it's either one of theirs fucking jobs right now.
That's the only thing me and you disagree on.
Like, and I'm getting a lot of people that are like, oh, why would you feel like it could be either one's job? I purely feel this way because I feel like that GMs are looking at both of them a little bit closer in the same light at this given moment. Both of them over the last couple of seasons have been getting the pass around treatment. Yeah. And honestly, the only thing that Russ can do that Winston can't do is throw 30 fucking interceptions.
Let me ask you this, though. Who between the two is less likely to lose you a game? Russ, because of what you just said. The only reason I'm bringing that up is my next question. If you were the GM and you were the head coach at this exact moment, and you knew that your decision laid in the balance of you being fired or keeping your job in 2026, Robbie, who are you taking to be your quarterback right now for the opening day? If you had to pick right now,
so
to save your job.
First thing that's going through my mind to save my job is you gave me the most cringe-worthy QB room in the fucking league.
No, but what I'm saying is as the GM, because the GM is trying to save his job too. So what I'm saying is why, you're the one that signed up to save your own job.
I would go out there and trot Russ.
That's why, that's my point.
But I'm happy that I do have Jameis. Should Russ falter? Should he fail? Or should injury take place? This is a perfect insert, let him play, so on and so forth. I like that it also sets them up for next year's QB draft or even the following year's QB draft. Even so, this is a perfect bridge QB situation because I do think that both QBs have enough in the tank to get you through this year and or the next if dire need consequences need be in dire straits.
Question for you.
It sucks that they're moving themselves out of the rookie QB situation.
But there is a chance, me and you have brought this up. There's a chance that even last week when we brought Shedeur up after Jameis got signed, there's a chance that when they get to 3, Shedeur's not even there. There's a chance that he goes at 2.
No, I mean, yeah.
So at this point, let's assume that he's gone, obviously, right? So let's assume that it goes QB1 and QB at 2. Let's just for shits and giggles. As the Giants, knowing who they have on their roster, okay? I think I know your answer. But are you taking Abdul Carter or are you taking Travis Hunter? And let me preface before you answer it, DB first, wide receiver second. That's how you're playing them.
And that still doesn't even change a whole lot for me.
I know, but I just wanted to say that for
the Giants have a line
that
they can get by with, a defensive line that they can get by with.
But wouldn't it be awesome to have both of them on the ends?
But gosh, if you have Carter now, the problem is that you're doing the same thing that the Giants did last year, which is asking your defense to go out there and win you games, and you already know that that's not a thing and that's not possible, and they can't pull that off for you.
That's why I think they should trade back and get a couple extra picks.
I think they should trade back, or if you're going to stay in that situation, then you need to be getting the Swiss Army knife in Travis Hunter at that point.
I have no problem with that.
just because you can now utilize the packages that you are going to give him offensively to help alleviate a little bit of pressure off of Malik Neighbors. Because I'm sorry, from a fantasy standpoint, while I do love either QB and what they can do for Malik Neighbors in fantasy, I do worry about a potential sophomore slump with Neighbors. Just getting, and I don't want to use the word slump, but I'm worried about maybe like a little bit of like a tick, just because teams having a full year's worth of film, being able to now bracket coverage. No one's giving a fuck about Darius Slayton, who for some reason still continues to get contracts in New York.
Hey, Wan'Dale Robinson, baby, let's go.
I'm gonna get drunk tonight. That was the sign right there.
You already know how I feel about that.
I'm mad that you went there.
Hey, I'm back live. Big screen Mikey.
That was good. So I want to move from New York. Is there anything else that we want to add about the Giants?
No, we're good until we're good.
Really quick, there is one more thing I do want to add. They need a fucking running back.
I just said it. They're going to draft one in the second or third round.
Hey, yeah, you did bring that up.
They're not going to get No, they're going after. No. They're not. No. They got Tyrone. Here's the thing. The reason I think they could go even third or fourth round is they do. I'm not saying he's great. That's not what I'm saying. But you've got Tyrone Tracy, who is serviceable, and just go two-headed monster is all I'm saying. I'm not saying you need, go get Genty at 3. No, you still got Hunter. You still got Abdul Carter. You still got freaking Mason Graham still there. I mean, you got guys that you got positions that you would need to fill before a running back. It's depth there. They'll be fine.
Fair enough. I want to move from New York. And I mean, honestly, Aiden brought it up in the chat. I was going to maybe wait a little bit later, but being that it is brought up, I might as well fucking address it.
Sure.
Who's the Steelers QB going to be? Rumors are Rodgers might take the year off. So we're hearing that Rodgers might take the year off. Then we're hearing that deep down he really wants to fulfill this whole Brett Favre, villain arc. Which at that point, I'm just like, you're just trying to do everything that he fucking did. Like, you're just trying to now just live in his shoes and prove that maybe you had the better storyline, whatever deep down vendetta that is between those two. It makes no fucking sense. It's stupid. It's really fucking dumb. Your thoughts? I'm not even necessarily on the Aaron Rodgers side of it, the Pittsburgh side of it.
No, I'll be honest. You were going to get the Pittsburgh side of it because I could give two rats' asses about freaking the Aaron Rodgers side.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple things that we need to bring up. Yes, the only thing I will say about dipshit is that there is a slight chance he ends up there if he decides to play. I still think that there's somewhat of a chance that the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025 is Kirk Cousins. I will still hold on to that because the longer Pittsburgh can't do anything.
Atlanta's bringing back Kirk.
Huh?
Atlanta's bringing back.
What did I tell you last time? I said I think Penix is going to be the starter, and that means that they could trade Kirk because here's the thing. They can't trade for Kirk or do anything until Rodgers gives them an answer, because if Rodgers doesn't give them an answer and they sign someone, Rodgers is going to say, you're an asshole. Okay?
I thought Kirk is pretty established that he is going to be going back to Atlanta.
He's going back, yes, but I think there's a chance they trade him still. I still think there's an outside chance to trade him.
Okay.
The other one that I think there's a chance, and I know I don't know how you feel about the landing spot, but I know you know where I'm going with this.
Andre, yes.
Jackson freaking Dart.
I am buying more and more into Jackson Dart to Pittsburgh. Here's my thing with that is,
And don't forget they re-signed Mason Rudolph. They brought him back.
yeah, that's trash.
I know.
Won't be having any shares of Mason Rudolph.
I already have a share.
My thing with Jackson Dart is, does a team say, we're just going to fuck you over? We have seen this in drafts before where teams teams knowing that another team is going after a player, and just to fuck that team over will completely go against whatever their needs are to hurt whoever else may be in the order. Jackson Dart is a guy that I could see any of the teams picking ahead of Pittsburgh, simply just being like, it's already not a QB, deep draft. They're already hurting themselves. We might as well put the fucking nail in the coffin early so that they can't even compete this season.
Yeah.
I think that that's a possibility. I think that is definitely within the strategic realm of possibilities. You don't think that's baked into some GM's plans?
No,
somewhere?
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not, and I understand your point. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to happen with the needs and with the other positions around that area of the draft.
It's a very interesting thought process because I don't think that there's anyone past Dart. I don't think there's anyone in free agency that the Steelers can insert, plug and play and be like, we're going to continue the Mike Tomlin era of mediocrity of winning enough to make it into the fucking playoffs by the skin of their fucking teeth. I don't think that there's anyone on the board that can help with that. I mean, I understand this is a team that once did this with small hands Kenny Pickett, but Tomlin's a great coach. But I mean, eventually the Achilles heel it gives.
Yeah.
I don't think that Tomlin can sustain this. What, you're gonna go fucking what's his name? What's the kid from what, you gonna go Kyle McCord?
Oh God, come on! You go
forever.
You go Jalen Milroe before you went Kyler McCord.
Or okay, yeah, Milroe. Tomlin could probably go out there and win football games with Milroe. He could probably go out there and win football games with Milroe. It's an interesting dynamic for the Steelers right now. If I'm a Steelers fan, I'd probably just fucking shaking all 24/7.
Well, let's be real. I mean, I think they're that way anyway, in the sense of the expectation from that team in a different way than the expectation of like a Cowboys or that kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's always this is our year type of expectation. I mean, when you have that many rings historically,
but when you've also to his point, or to his credit, and I mean to Tomlin's credit, for all this time to never be a losing record,
the ceiling has to break at some point.
Now I know, but that's why I'm saying. I think that's what I'm saying with the expectation of the team going, oh no, is this year? Oh no, is this
Najee now?
I don't think that's as big of a deal as.
You got two receivers that are probably going to spend more time fucking boxing than actually playing football.
Hey, don't forget you got Pat Freiermuth, baby.
Yeah, I think Muth is going to have a significant fantasy value now because of all the fucking penalties that are going to be happening to the other fucking two. Freiermuth, this guy, like whoever's the quarterback is going to be like, fuck it. And let's say it is Jackson Dart. What's a rookie quarterback's best friend? The tight end. Jay Daniels and Zach Ertz. We've seen this.
I'm going to throw a random one out.
Dalton Schultz here with CJ Stroud.
I'm going to throw a very, 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 very random one out there. I'm not saying he's a great bridge quarterback. I'm not saying he's even a bridge quarterback. But there is a quarterback that we have had high hopes for in the past.
High hopes.
That's gone from his drafted team, then got traded to another team for a quarterback who did not ride. If you are sitting there and there is no one on the board and whatever, you bring in Drew Lock just to like see if
fuck around and find out, just to fuck around and find out.
Just to F around and find out because
or
you don't have any
Lock in black and gold would be pretty interesting.
Or draft Dart and bring in Lock and see like.
Yeah, and just fuck around and find out. No, I mean that's where the Steelers are at this juncture.
That's my point. Like you can't bring in Cousins and you're not bringing in Rodgers.
Javonte in Dallas, yay or nay? I know for a fact that this is about a fantasy perspective, Calvin.
Let me see if he's on my roster in the league I'm in with this boy. Before I give my opinion.
I'm gonna give my opinion point.
No, go ahead.
And it has nothing. My opinion has nothing to do with Dallas. It has everything to do with Javonte. Javonte is so underwhelming. Like you have all these fantasy gurus out here year in year out. They're like, I'm gonna go 0 RB and I'm gonna start my freaking backfield with Javonte Williams, and I'm like, yo, like,
he's asking because he has them.
You need to get off of that ship real quick, buddy. Abandon that ship.
He has them.
Look. All right, I'm gonna keep it real in regards to Javonte Williams in Dallas, like this upcoming year. For Dynasty, I'll start with Dynasty.
Yeah,
you're likely probably going to be stashing Javonte as nothing more than a bench piece, or either dropping him for whatever incumbent rookie that you're about to pick up. He's at that point. Like we're at that fucking point, in my personal opinion, with Javonte Williams. If I was playing Madden right now, I wouldn't even have that motherfucker on my team. He'd be dropped off the roster in a fucking video game. Like, and then for redraft purposes, like when August rolls around, or when like Scott Fishbowl rolls around, and like we're like, oh fuck, like I'm on the clock and like it's deep, in the draft. I need a dart throw. It's probably not. Javonte's not even going to be a dart throw. Javonte's not getting watch listed. I want no parts of this.
Cal, I'll give you 4-11 right now.
Maybe? That's your best. That's the best thing that you're going to get. That's the best thing. You're getting a late fourth, which honestly, that late fourth might have more return on investment than fucking Javonte right now.
Joking.
Oh, see, now that I tell Mike this, he's like, I'm joking.
I looked to see that was my late. I looked to see what my latest draft pick was, and that's it.
Bro, you see how you see how many fucking late round talent that you could this year's rookie draft.
That's why I'm not waiting, or I'm not right now.
Motherfuckers in Dynasty this year are gonna be like, yeah, my 4th round rookie went and popped off, like people are like, you're what? Because like in Dynasty circles, everyone's like everyone is always like focused on like the darlings. Like even when we get into like the season, everyone's like focused on like the darlings. Like it's very rare, like from like a concept perspective, that like some of those like lower like back end names like get recognition, unless you're like me who had ended up with Brock Purdy in a Dynasty league. That got
give me Kyle Monungai.
Yeah, that'd be okay. You're already on the Dynasty rookie watch, I see.
Rookie running back out of Rutgers.
As I say, out of Rutgers. Dart and Horsecock lock room has aura. No, for real, that room really does have aura. It's not great. And obviously I'm not speaking about it from a fantasy football perspective here, but just like from like an X's and O's perspective, you need to, at this point, you just need to fucking put a warm body in the room. That's not Mason Rudolph.
He just sent me the trade.
You might as well fucking accept.
Oh wait.
You might as well accept it, Mike. What's the worst that could fucking happen?
I know.
Worst case scenario, you break even.
Well, and that's the thing is right now my best rookie on that team, I think, is Kenny Gainwell. So
He said, "Drop the mic." No, I'm dead. I'm dead.
I got you. All right,
Um,
next topic.
I feel like I still I feel like I still want to keep it on football right now.
That's fine.
Because a major signing did happen earlier in the week. This one is interesting. This one's interesting because it has like a couple of different like moving dynamics to it. You have a personality aspect to it. You know, of course, for us, there's like the fantasy aspect to it. I even want to, even though the odds aren't out yet. Like I even want to like think like features projections for this player that we're about to talk about. And that's no other than Stephon Diggs. From getting into Cardi B's dirty box to also getting into the box in the end zone, this man is about it. But he is also a fucking tier 1 crash out. All right. This man, Stephon Diggs, could be in the land of milk and cookies and still find a way to fucking be depressed and still find a way to be a diva and still find a way to like be pissed off. He goes to New England with sophomore quarterback Drake May and head coach fucking knucklehead, meathead Mike Vrabel, who in his NFL career was knocking dudes' lights the fuck out. One of my favorite coaches in the league because of how hands-on he is. What do you think of Diggs going to the Patriots? And you got a no bullshit type of guy like Vrabel, but then you also got like this new, I don't want to say innocent, but still fresh green QB in Drake May, Mike. Like this is an interesting dynamic.
Okay, so I'm gonna attack this at a few different angles. First angle. Patriots getting a veteran wide receiver to a horrible, weak wide receiver room. For weeks, I was pledging that Cooper Kupp should sign or go to the Patriots. Not saying that Cooper Kupp is Stephon Diggs in either, in flamboyance and in any of those ways or whatever. Just saying a veteran wide receiver that can go in, take the reins, help Javon Baker, who me and you, I think, both liked better than Jalen Polk, if I'm remembering correct.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have Baker. You do have Polk. They are weak there. So that is one of the reasons I'm okay with Stephon Diggs. For Drake May, I also like it because you have him as long as he doesn't become Diva Diggs, which we know he will eventually. And that's where I want to get to. I am afraid that Belichick was also a no-nonsense coach like Vrabel. That's where Vrabel played. That's who Vrabel took after. Robbie, real quick, and then I'm going to keep going. Are you afraid that this could turn into Ocho Cinco Patriots?
God damn.
In the sense of veteran guy towards the end of his career, going to another team, they think he's going to succeed, and he crashes out like you brought up. Crash out about other teams, including the Steelers with, Pickens and DK, whatever. I don't think that he's going to at the beginning, but does he ruffle the feathers or does he rub Vrabel the wrong way? No, did he? And tick him off, and it doesn't turn into something. The thing is, the one thing that everyone's going about is it's a 3-year deal. It's a 3-year deal. If you look at the contract, it's a 1-year deal. So they can get out of it after 1 year and backload whatever and, dead money at this and that. But I am afraid I do have optimism The one thing I'm not afraid of, yes, he's not going to be at 100% Stephon Diggs, miracle, the Minneapolis Miracle Diggs and the beginning of the Buffalo realm after he tore his ACL. But I'm not worried about the talent on the field. I'm worried about the talent in the dome.
I am in that same frame of thinking. I don't like when let me just talk about Stephon Diggs, the football player, for a minute. Yeah. I don't like seeing these social media couch quarterbacks talking about, oh, well, because of the injury, he's done, he's toast, he has nothing in the tank. Shut the fuck up. I think that is the most laziest, dumb take ever, especially when I see people that play fantasy football making these type of sentiments, but they're the same people that will still go out and draft CMC year in, year out after injury, after injury, after injury. And it's like, you're willing to, in a volatile position like running back, you're willing to keep running the fucking risk. But we're talking about Stephon Diggs, who has realistically, from a fantasy football perspective, done nothing but put out for you. Like, come on. I do think that Diggs has had enough recovery time to where, while everyone else in the draft room come redraft summer, while everyone else is in the draft room being cautious, even in best ball when I'm doing my Millie teams and everything, when I'm chasing the pot, I'm gonna have shares of Stephon Diggs. I think that is stupid as fuck because of the injury that took place in Houston, that we're all of a sudden, willing to toss him out. We don't know how great that Houston team realistically could have been had that receiving core stayed healthy. It sucks that they weren't able to kind of run it back with those guys, and a lot of guys, I left and and et cetera, et cetera. Houston situation is a little bit fucking weird right now. I like this for Diggs because with Vrabel as head coach, you can't crash out now. Vrabel's not going to tolerate it. Vrabel's not going to put up with it. Vrabel doesn't give a fuck if you get 8 targets a game. I have seen Stephon Diggs beat up 2 scores on teams and still whine, moan, complain, throw tantrums, everything. You can't do that here, bud. And also, because you are Stephon Diggs, you're not really gonna, you shouldn't really have to worry about that here, because we don't really know what Jalen Polk can be yet. We don't really know what Javon Baker can be yet. They still have a very, very fossilized tight end room. So I think that it's interesting. I think that there is fantasy value for Diggs. 2 QB, give me Drake May all fucking day. They're building something here. How long Diggs is gonna be with the Patriots? Like how long is he still gonna be in the NFL? Neither here nor there.
That's why I think they structured their contract where if it doesn't work after one, they could move off.
They can move on. Exactly. Similar to what Houston did. But I think there's something here, boys. Don't get caught. Don't get caught lacking the fucking draft room this season. I mean, May is coming. May is coming. June is coming. Best ball summer's fucking approaching. Get ready. Like Mike and I we're drumming up these conversations now so that we can be ahead of the curve before then. It's RA cringe. What? Malik Neighbors going to be better next year with Russ. I'm low-key praying Jameis gets the job mid-season because Neighbors would explode. I think either way, the numbers for Neighbors more so stay the same. George, we kind of talked about that at the beginning of the show. I think the numbers either irregardless. Neighbors is in a good spot with either one, either way. It's just a matter of what the Giants as a whole do.
In what area do you have them? Obviously, I'm not having you pinpoint like number 4, number 5. I'm not saying that. But in what area do you have them in your dynasty?
Neighbors?
Yeah. Because I've seen some crazy. I've seen some
top 8 for sure.
I've seen top 5.
I could justify top 5. I could make a justification.
Guarantee I'm just without a doubt you're looking at J. Jeff, Chase, ARSB, and CeeDee Lamb without even thinking about it.
Read me that list really quick again. Sorry.
Above him, I'm not saying in order. I'm saying above him. ARSB, Chase, Jefferson, Lamb.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then you have to think about it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it also depends on how you like to build your team, so on and so forth. It's at that range. It becomes a luxury to have. Don't know how. Let's go. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. I do love Mbuka.
I just think that your team has too many holes to want Mbuka in the first round.
The thing with Mbuka is that he could fit virtually any scheme.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying they have too many holes to take a wide receiver in the first round, I think.
Who?
Matt's team.
Oh, fucking Houston.
Mm-hmm. I think there's too many holes on that team right now.
Houston found a couple of different ways to fuck themselves. They walked right up to Diddy's LA mansion, popped open the gates themselves, and were like, "Honey, I'm home." It's fucked up. I didn't have to go there. We're actually about to get into this topic right now. Believe it or not. George asks also, where are you drafting Genty? I remember I had a great year when I drafted Najee round 1 when he was a rookie. So this actually gets into our topic here next. Mike, there has, I don't want to say every year, but every last couple of years since we've been on air, not last couple, there's been some unique years is what I should state. When we name guys like Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, these guys that as rookie running backs, Jonathan Taylor, busted onto the scene, and their rookie years were first-round fantasy value draft picks. Bijan Robinson. Ashton Genty is looking to be the next wave of that, to be the next set of that. And this is before even having a landing spot. Are you willing, without dropping a landing spot for Genty, are you willing to spend a first-round value on him? Does landing spot even fucking matter when it comes to Michael Myers?
Hold on real quick. Okay. I just wanted to make sure on something.
Matt said, what? about what I said, what I said about the Texans. You guys have a lot of holes to fill.
Oh, well.
Wait.
They screwed up giving the trade to you guys.
Tunsil, and then how things are going to work with the receiving core, especially given guys being injured and such. Like Houston has some problems.
All right. So can you repeat the actual question? I know the topic, but the actual question.
Yeah. So with Genty, are you willing to spend a first round value on Genty, even without having a landing spot? Does landing spot realistically matter with Ashton Genty?
There's 3 running. I'm going to go in this. No way. At this point, there's 3 running backs that I'm taking before him without even thinking about it. Right now, there's 3 running backs I'm taking in front of him. Those are right off the bat. They're Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon, and Bijan. I just looked up his underdog ADP for early best ball drafts.
Yeah, I see it in your phone.
It's 112.
112, which is average for rookie for first round rookie talent. That's average. That's very, 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 very normal.
Without landing spot, I'm more around 15. But that's just the way I play.
Normally, I would be in agreement. Here's why I am not currently.
I might have a question for you because I think I know why.
Because Ashton's downhill violence when he runs, I don't give a fuck what offensive line he's running behind. That dude's finding fucking daylight. He's finding daylight. I get that, okay, that was at Boise State. That's college. It's not. There's something special about this kid.
Okay. So where are you taking him?
He surveys the field in a very Derrick Henry-like manner.
Where are you willing to take him at this exact moment? And then I have a couple questions for you.
112.
Okay.
At this exact moment, I will take him. Before you even looking that up, which is that's what I figured you were doing, 1.8, between 1.8 and 112 is where I was already thinking.
Okay. So let's just say 112 on the dot. All right. No. For this exercise, let's say 110. Okay.
Fine.
For this exercise. Does it move when I tell you this? Does it move either way when I tell you this? Heck no. Does it move when I tell you this? Raiders. I'm going to give you a few.
No.
Bears.
With that offensive line, it can possibly go. It could jump to 8.
No, I agree. That's why I said okay. Bengals.
Fucking dog.
Okay. Cowboys. Those are the 4 that I think it is. It's one of those 4.
All right. Hear me out. Dallas's issue is that they waited too long to replace the elder pieces on the offensive line. So that offensive line digressed. Unlike the other options that you mentioned to me,
yep.
And all those other options all got better. Outside of fucking CD, there's nowhere else for Ashton Jeanty to go. And CD, I don't know if you've watched fucking CD block recently, but that's not exactly him.
No.
If CD's not running a route, well, no, actually, last year's film for CD is a lot of blocking. Never mind. So Jeanty in Dallas might work.
But I would agree with you that
was cheese.
But what you're saying, and I agree with you, Jeanty is closer to 112, 114 with Cowboys. Comparably, he's at 108 to 110 with Chicago.
That's, you know how we do fantasy friendly? You know how we do fantasy friendly in the summer? That's fucking crazy. How significant of a dip. We're talking about Michael Myers right now. How much of we just went through 14. Once you put it in that perspective, bro, that's crazy how much of a dip that is in stock.
Because if you look at if he gets past Cincinnati, there's no way he gets past Cincinnati at 17. I don't think he gets past the Cowboys. Personally, I don't think he gets past the Bears. But if he does get past the Bears, he doesn't get past the Cowboys.
Dallas is able. If I'm Dallas GM, Would Ginty be nice? Yes. Could I use Ginty? Yes. I'm either A, gonna start re-strengthening that fucking offensive line, or B, Matthew Golden, come on down because I need some help with CD.
Let me ask you
CD
a
needs
question.
help. The same. All right. You remember my take? Hold on. You remember my take with the 2020 Commanders and Taylor Heineke and how much help that Terry McLaurin needed?
Yeah. I know.
About needing a wide receiver.
No, you're right.
Take that take and apply it to Dallas in 2025.
I 100% agree. But in the last 48 hours, I've seen mock drafts that have Dallas taking Tet.
Poor Tet.
I don't know if it's poor Tet because he's different than CD.
Did you see Steve Smith's player profile on Tet?
No, I have not.
Check that out after when we get off air.
I'll check it out tonight.
Controversial.
In
Like not like anything that he said specifically, like controversial in the film world. Because like you have motherfuckers that are like Tet, and then like you have like me that's like, I don't know what I want to make of Tet yet. And then you have Steve Smith that's like, fuck Tet McMillan.
I saw someone that I trust. In our circles, but that I trust. And they had Tet at 5. WR5.
I'm probably gonna drop wide receiver ranks like middle of next week. I'm gonna keep it real. It'll probably drop. But I'll probably send you a list of like Instagram time. And we'll probably drop them in 2 parts. Top 10. Wait, not top 10. Top 10, top 20 through 11. 20 through 11 and then 10 through 1.
Yeah. You might not even have that many. It might be 5 and 15.
Fucking English is hard. I want to utilize this time. There's still like a lot that we do. Draft is coming up, bro.
Yep.
Draft is coming up. Pro days are happening. Pro days are happening. So we still have a bevy of fucking things to talk about on the other side of the show. We're gonna get into a player interview. Golden wants to stay in Houston, not gonna lie. Golden doesn't have control over that. I'm sorry to tell you, this is the NFL draft, buddy. You go where the fuck you get called. Can see Ginty being a Cowboy. That'd be interesting. Mike, where do you predict Mbuku to go? Do you want to go? He's asking you.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that after the break.
Yeah. Well, all I'll say is that
no, I need to look at something. I'll give you that after the
very convoluted draft where a lot of different players can fit in multiple different systems.
Yeah, I'll
There's
give
a
you
couple
my
different
team.
teams with similar systems that are probably going to pick based off of personality.
Yeah, but
like
I have an opinion, but I'll give it after the break.
So,
cool.
He messaged the Texans, "Don't let me leave," and they hearted it. Yeah, that's just social media team doing social media team's job. We are going to get into a player interview here. Then we'll get into commercial, some music, and then we will be right back after this quick break. You know what? Homie Miko got picked up. I feel like playing his interview.
Let's go, Miko.
I know, right? This camera. What is this camera? Is this the camera right here?
Got 2 on you.
That's
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Dilly. Welcome to the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. And on this edition of our 2019 Rookie Premier Interviews, we have recently drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs, Miko Hardman, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Miko, to the show.
Appreciate it.
No worries,
Glad
Miko.
to be here.
Yeah. I'm glad you enjoy it. So, Miko, you sit back, waiting to get picked. Phone goes off. Let's go ahead and recap that night really quick. So what's going on?
Man, we're just chilling, watching the draft. I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, okay, cool. The Philadelphia was on the clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Philly might be a team that can get me. But I'm chilling and my phone ring, and I didn't see it at first because I'm looking at the draft. I said, oh, my phone ringing. I'm like, oh. So, and it was from a Pennsylvania number, like a Philly number. So I'm thinking it's the Eagles. So I answered the call. Like, what's good? Like, hey, he's like, McCall, this is Brent Beach from Kansas City. I'm like, Kansas City, like, I'm like, Kansas City ain't out there, I'm thinking they're telling me ahead of time. I didn't know it was gonna be like that, I'm thinking it's usually like, right in the call, but I figured they traded up to get me, and it was a good night. So.
Very nice, very nice. If you could describe your playing style as a receiver, like what's your playing style? This is in depth though.
Probably explosive, like an explosive receiver. I kind of like base my game off my speed. Trying to be explosive if I can. Just try to get it in out of breaks. So overall, just really explosive. I wish I could find that word, but really
home
explosive.
Run hitter.
Yeah, home run hitter.
Deep threat, deep threat, explosive guy. They can take a 2 yard, take it to the crib, or I can take a 90-yard bomb. So I try to do it like
Speaking of explosive, like you got the most explosive quarterback. All you got to do is run. It's coming. It's coming.
The most explosive
it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, he definitely great, man. I'm glad to have him on my team and just to be on the same field with him. So thankful for that.
Most
do
certainly.
some routes with him yet? Anything?
Yeah.
We've done a couple routes. Meet him a little bit before.
Yeah, it's cool. We got a little group stuff we have with the team and the offense and stuff like that, and we're gonna jump back into it next week when I get back in OTA. So it's gonna be fun.
Nice. What do you want to make sure that when everything is pretty much like all wrapped up in like your career, right? What do you want the NFL and guys like myself, because I'm gonna sit back and be like, every time you're on the phone, like I interviewed that guy,
right?
Like what do you want to like leave behind? Like what do you want that imprint to be?
Man, overall, honestly, I just want everybody to know that I was just not on the field as a player, but off the field I was a stuff guy. I think that's the most important aspect anyway, because you don't want nobody to say, "Oh, he was good on the field, but he was rude in person though. I hated that guy." You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want people talking about how my back like he was rude or anything. So I want people to be like, "Man, he was great on the field, but he even better person." So that's how I kind of want to be.
I met him off camera, behind the scenes before we started this interview, and nobody's ever going to be able to say that about you, Nicole. I'm sorry, brother. That's just never going to happen. And then finally, we have the youth out here on Sportscaster. This is the generation of the next greatest guys to do what we're doing right now.
Right.
What is your advice to the young up-and-comers, the young athletes, young entrepreneurs, sports analysts, so on and so forth, that want to get into just this world and you're doing?
Man, I think the biggest thing is, it's really just trying to get one, man. I think it's a testament to hard work and dedication, because like when you get here, it's not easy, because it's easy for everybody to do it. So I think it's just like more of hard dedication. And I think that leads you only so far. But then again, you gotta, you just gotta be yourself, man. Dream big, like I always say, and like I always tell everybody, man, like me, y'all might be like, say y'all might be the CEO of a company one day, anything like that, and like this interview right here might put me in the door to get a job, after whatever over. You know what I'm saying? So always be respectful, for everybody around you, man. And just dream big and just put hard work and be dedicated to what you want to do, and never let everybody tell you that you can't do it.
Hey, you ever, we grow up and we blow up and everything like that. You need something after the NFL, or if you don't, just give us a ring, brother.
Hey, man, I'm definitely gonna
you ever want to come on the show again?
Arrowhead gonna love you, man. They're the loudest stadium.
I heard.
Gonna love you.
Oh yeah.
Trying to turn that thing up.
Yes, sir.
But ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for Miko Hardman. Greatly appreciate you, brother.
Sure.
Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rum boys and girls. What to do? Dilly.
Hop out in Miami with no land, ain't got no understanding. Out of here, I'm burning, no turn me up, you can't understand it. In the club, posted up, they lit up, no matter where I'm standing. Drop GLD for the Cuban link, yeah, you see it there. Might spaz out on some taller shit, no on zero tolerance. Money conversations ain't hard to relate, it's hollering. See my neck, they acknowledge it, good bring away your gang with the gang with the gang with the gang. Gang in the cash in, we is just scribbling racks out. I made a name for rapping, turn this bitch to a cash cow. I to get you white lacking, fuck the bitch, she tap out. Bad bitch, ass out, cash in, cash out. Gang in the cash in, we is just scribbling racks out. I made a name for rapping, turn this bitch to a cash cow. I to get you white lacking, fuck the bitch, she tap out. Bad bitch, ass out, cash in, cash out. Gang in the cash in, bro, the success on a fast route. You don't really wanna whack shit, I blow this bitch when I back out. I came to get rich with half clout. I lit the city in a blackout. I lit the shit that I rap out. Get pistol whipped if you act out. That's how it go. I seen this shit happen. You don't want smoke, keep this shit rapping. Oh, they got jokes, let's use laughing. I came with a pole, that bitch get to dance. Whoa. I woke them up cause they been asleep. I roll around like the Genevieves. My whole squad like the Den of Thieves. I gang in the cash in. We is distributing racks out. I made a name for rapping. Turn this bitch to a cash cow. I to get you white lacking. Fuck the bitch, she tap out. Bad bitch, ass out. Cash in, cash out. Gang in the cash in. We is distributing racks out. I made a name for rapping. Turn this bitch to a cash cow. I to get you white lacking. Fuck the bitch, she tap out. Bad bitch, ass out. Cash in, cash out. Just sleeping on me, now they woke. Thinking of creeping on me and get smoked. We couldn't eat it for leaves, we was broke. Shout out to BV and CC, my bros. Rowdy and Malvy, VP, feed the low. Getting no team, I'm seeing his ghost. Still in the street, cause to me it's my home. My city need me, they need me to go. They loving the flow, they say my shit wavy. I got that dope like back in the 80s. I got your hoe, she acting all crazy. Cut on my show, it's back like the baby. So don't hate me, no. Cause I stayed down till I came up. I stayed the same while they changed up. Not making rain on these lame dogs. Gang in the cash in. We is distributing racks out. I made a name for rapping. Turn this bitch to a cash cow. I took a chick white lacking. Fuck the bitch, she tap out. Bad bitch, ass out. Cash in, cash out. Gang in the cash in. We is distributing racks out. I made a name for rapping. Turn this bitch to a cash cow. I took a chick white lacking. Fuck the bitch, she tap out. Bad bitch, ass out. Cash in, cash out.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, all right, all right. We are going to get into the second half of the show. You know. Oh, okay. Matt was saying, hey, look what happened with the Tank. Okay. When I was talking about Matthew Golden. All right. Yo, cheers to me. Cheers to you. All the rum boys and girls. What it do? Dilly. We love and appreciate you.
Whoo! That was warm to the chest.
Mm-hmm. Let's see something here really quick. Mike, let's see if I can adjust camera angle a little. I may have to. I want to do something. Before we get into the next topic.
Can I have the floor? Can I have the floor for a couple seconds?
Or
later.
Yeah, 1 second. Settings. Let me just see one thing first. General. What are you gonna?
To answer Matt's question, after looking at the draft board, I kind of think that at the end of the first round, it depends where teams want to go. I don't think Houston's going to take them because I just think they have too many holes. There's something telling me that even though because of other positions and whatever, I do think there's a chance that Ibaka could fall out of the first round. Because you got Tet, you got Golden. There's some people that don't. After that, you got Burden, and then depending on Burden or Ibaka, he could fall. Whatever. Looking at the beginning of the second round, and I know you're going to agree with me. I know you will. Him as a Giant would be disgusting.
That would be nasty. That would absolutely be nasty.
The other one that would be nasty, because they don't have a WR1 on the team, the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders Chip Kelly, who was his OC last year in Ohio State.
Y'all can see right here.
Yep.
Underneath the name tag. Drain a putt. Continue.
Igbokwe as a Raider, I would absolutely hate, but I could see it. The other one that I've seen in a couple mock drafts that I'm looking at on NFL Mock Draft Database, which I don't understand, and this is the one that I want your opinion on, Robbie. I've seen a couple mock drafts that are recent, so after free agency moves, that have you guys taking Igbokwe.
That would be sick. Igbokwe with Terry. I've been seeing some of those mocks as well.
But even with Debo?
Let's go! That I am nasty.
But along with Debo, I don't think you should do it. I think you have bigger problems. Up that high.
I'm gonna start giving away money whenever I drain putts and shit like that. Like there's gonna be a mini hoop. I'm gonna start doing like fucking wild shit. That was sick. That was sick the way that I drained that putt, bro. That it was nice. It was pretty fucking nice from this angle. Like, I cannot wait to put a putting green down on this shit. It's gonna fucking be sick. It's gonna be sick.
The other landing spot I've seen on a lot of mocks that I don't like because of me being a Chiefs fan, and I just don't get it because of their weapons right now, is the Denver Broncos.
Broncos need weapons. The Broncos can always use more. And Igbokwe is interesting. I feel like it could be. I feel like it could be Denver. Washington is getting mocked up for him, and I don't dislike it. That just means it puts McCaffrey as a permanent return specialist.
Yep.
But there's also other things that we could utilize. Other things that we need. I would prefer the safety out of even though we got Will Smith from New Orleans. I prefer the safety out of South Carolina.
That guy's a beast.
So I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting process right now. Sitting back and evaluating talent and evaluating players. Speaking of evaluating talent, speaking of evaluating players, we kind of touched on it during the first half of the show. Pro days have been beginning to take place across the NFL. It's starting to shape up and sound like Cam Ward is going to be all in with the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are probably going to be all in on Cam Ward, which I personally figured was going to happen. I feel like is the best bet for them if they want to go out there and try and win football games, which means that Shador is going to fall. We did talk about the fall. We kind of touched on the fallout of that. With the whole New York thing, what happens now? What happens now with Shador? Or is Shador still in the running to possibly be the guy for Tennessee? The only 10 that I see.
No, Shador is in the conversation to be the guy who does not go to massage parlors in Cleveland. I think that's where I think Tennessee, it's locked. I've heard way too many people think it's locked. Too many people, I heard Brian Baldinger, I've heard too many people in the know think it's locked.
I think that 101 is locked after that pro day that Cam Ward had.
I do think that they could. I do think that Cleveland could trade out of the pick to someone that wants to move up to get Shedeur. It's just not going to be the Giants. It's not going to, I don't know where he ends up at this point. He could end up in Cleveland. If I had to put money on it, that's where I'd say right now, but I'm not confident in that money.
I'm not confident in that just because of
being Cleveland.
My lack of confidence in Cleveland.
That's my point.
Yeah, and let's just talk about Cleveland for a second because and this current situation. Because if you're trying to go out there and fucking win football games, and especially prove to the talent that you just signed on the defense side of the ball, Myles Garrett, that, hey, we're bringing here not just because of money, because we actually can do something.
Does it matter to him anymore?
I mean, realistically, no. But Shedeur probably at this juncture, let's say that Ward is off the board now, right? All right. Yes. I feel like that there's no point in us having this Sanders Ward debate anymore.
Yep.
Ward's off the board. He goes to Tennessee. If I'm Cleveland and I want to fucking win football games, Shedeur's going to give me the best bet to win football games. Even though he's a rookie, if you're Cleveland and you get Shedeur, you give yourself the same opportunity that New England gave themselves this past season with Drake May. Whereas, no, they were not winning football games, but one, the opportunity was definitely there. Two, May looked fucking amazing, given what he was surrounded with. Cleveland could find themselves being this year's Patriots if they go and they get Shedeur, where it's like on record you may not be winning games, but you are winning a game within a game that you've never won before, that's your quarterback conundrum. You haven't had a stable fucking quarterback since Tim Couch.
Okay.
I'll rest my case.
The funniest thing that just came out of your goddamn mouth is you used Tim Couch in that vein.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. Tim Couch was even like that either. I think you got to go further back.
When's the last time they had stable quarterback play?
Bernie Kosar.
Goddamn. Like it's really bad. It's a bad situation that they're dealing with there.
Here, I'll put it in perspective.
It's always been bad, but
I'll put how bad they are. I'll put how bad they are in perspective. I told you that I was working on I told you a while back that I was working on a giant graphics project that I'm going to put out later. In that graphics project, I went back to the year 2000 and dug into every single team in the NFL who the top fantasy player score-wise for a season was all the way back to 2000. The best Cleveland Brown quarterback since the year 2000, take a stab at it in fantasy points. Just take a stab. Who had the best fantasy season as a Cleveland Brown since 2000? Huh?
God damn. Baker?
What if I told you his name was Derek Anderson?
God damn.
Yeah, he beat Baker by like
Panthers, Derek?
Yeah, he beat Baker by like 4 points.
Holy shit.
I had to do a graphic on Derek Anderson. There will be a Derek Anderson graphic coming out soon.
That's gonna be lit, in all honesty. That bitch is probably gonna go dumb in football circles, like for real. Like, bro, yeah, if I'm Cleveland, because the closest that they were to recent success was that Baker break open the beer fridge's year.
Yeah.
If you want to get just a taste of that back, you get Shedeur. Do I think that Shador is going to be able to keep in lockstep with the rest of the quarterbacks in that division? No. Well, Pittsburgh doesn't have one. So, hey, Cleveland, you're already fucking doing something bad.
Let me ask you this. I know you have a different opinion than I do on Shador. However, Shador at quarterback and Jackson Dart at quarterback, with the teams that both teams have, who's better?
Shador in Cleveland or Jackson in
No, I'm saying if you have Shador in Cleveland and Dart in Pitt, who's a better team? If those are the starters week 1.
It's two different. Okay, hear me out. It's two different conversations because Shador is the better quarterback, tools, mechanics, preparation, et cetera. Dart will end up with the better weapons, which if they were, let's say hypothetically speaking, they're both thrust into the fire beginning of the season. I expect because of the weapons for Dart to have a better season.
That's why I asked.
That's not saying that he'll have a better career.
No.
I think that he'll have a better season. The thing is that let's remove the name from it and insert just position, just quarterback. It doesn't matter if it's Ward, if it's Sanders, if it's Dart, if it's McCord. I don't give a if it's Milrow. I don't give a fuck. If you're going to Cleveland, you're doomed. It's an uphill road until you are able to get traded. And in order to get traded, it is now appearing that the culture there is that you have to force your way out.
All right, let me ask you a different. Let's spin this a completely different direction, because we do talk both sides of the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm talking dynasty. Ash and Genty 101 no matter what. Some people are because of Superflex, and I'm talking SF. Some people, because of Superflex value, they're saying Ward should be 2 because of it being quarterback and the value of a QB. Some people are saying Hampton. Some people, I've seen the top 5 with a total mix of top 5, except Genty's always at 101. Right now, if Ward goes to Tennessee, and I'm not asking you to tell me where Ward goes in the draft, but Shador ends up in Cleveland, what range do you take Shador Sanders in a rookie draft if he's a Cleveland Brown?
I think that so if my team has QBs, I can let it fall and let it be one of those situations where I let it fall as late as it possibly can to me. So like maybe like I could see like where Shador could probably fall like a 1-7, a 1-9 type shit. If the other teams in my league aren't QB needy, then I can wait, and I could see leagues being designed that way. I could see a team being completely satisfied with like, oh, I have Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy and Russ on my bench. I don't need to go and get Shador. I could see that psychology playing in. So Shador has a very wide range of a back end, mid to back end first to, if it depending on how I've seen rookie drafts snake, I've seen rookie drafts, have like the linear. I could see it making it back to the beginning of that second, however that works. But I don't think that he goes past. I don't think he's a mid second, back end second.
No.
I think that's.
I saw someone in a mock take him at 104 just because of the value at QB. I wouldn't go that high.
I think that's being overzealous, and I think that in order to be doing that, the person that is doing that is a person that has Baker Mayfield Bryce Young and nobody else. You know, if I'm seeing like that at quarterback, fuck, I'm going to go get Shador at 104.
Yeah.
You know,
I got you.
but like if I have like, it's like a team that I have, where I have Jaden, I have Jaden and Sam Darnold. I think like my third quarterback is like, I think like Jameis or some shit. I'm not gonna go after Shador.
Yeah, like I got a team that I got Jaden and Dak. Even though Kirko is my number 3, I'm still not going after him.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wouldn't do that. Speaking of fantasy, I know that we kind of talked about the Cowboys like earlier. Are we entering a realm where Dak's fantasy value should be suppressed?
I think he's being undervalued because of that exact reason.
I think that people are still that there's this delusion, and I'm not talking like Cowboys delusion, but like there's like this fantasy delusion that it's like it's still Dak, it's still Dallas.
I think that's gone this year. I think that went away after this past year.
I don't think it fully has. I feel like that there's still a good crowd out there that's like, yeah, I'll take the shot on Dak. All right, Dak or Herbert?
Oh, Herbert. Oh, Herbert? No. Not even without a doubt.
Healthy Dak.
Healthy Dak and give me healthy Dak and healthy Herbert. Give me Herbert all day long. Oh, not even a close.
Okay.
We're talking, redraft dynasty. I don't care. Give me Herbert.
I find it unique because you have a lot of people that are like completely out on Herbert.
No.
I'm out on Herbert. I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Why are you out on Herbert?
I've been burned too many times. I don't feel like that. I feel like for the last 2 years on air, I have overvalued and overpriced him and overpraised him.
What wide receiver do you think that is me with? There's a wide receiver that I feel the exact same way about. I'm done.
Who?
Jalen freaking Waddle.
Oh yeah, I'm done with Waddle. Yeah,
but
I'm done with Waddle.
But you know how much I've been on. You know how much I love Waddle.
I feel you there. So actually, okay. So let's talk about that really quick. Let's talk about this upcoming season Dolphins team.
Because I had him. Yeah. Before you keep going, I just want to let people know that don't remember this or weren't around when I was talking about it. I had Waddle above Devonta Smith. Waddle was my number 1 of that class.
I remember. I did the same thing.
I thought when the thing that we can't forget about that year at Alabama was, even though the Slim Reaper did win the Heisman, I truly believe the reason he won that Heisman with Mac Jones at quarterback was because Jalen Waddle broke his foot against Tennessee.
No, we both said the same thing on air.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I just want to reiterate that.
Look, this Miami team heading into this season
is whack.
Could potentially be the last team in that division.
Third
is fair. I don't think that you should be looking for Miami to get into the playoffs this year.
No. I got New England right now at 2.
So you have Buffalo, New England,
Miami, the Jets. Close. I mean, that's if right now. I'm not putting that could change. But I'll say this: I think the Jets are closer to Miami than Miami is closer to New England.
I have Buffalo,
Jets,
Patriots,
That's
Jets,
right.
Dolphins.
See, I
almost went Jets at 2. I almost went Jets at 2.
I think the Jets. I want to see what the Jets roster looks like in July.
Yeah, I want to continue. I want to continue to see it build, but I do think that Ohio State connection back with those boys, Fields and Wilson will do something and elevate that team. I just feel like that Miami is so depleted and they're so dejected, and then the defensive side of the ball is just not prevalent.
And they're one-dimensional because of the fact they can run and they can pass, but I mean and I know you agree with me because we've talked about this off camera. They're one-dimensional in the sense that they're all about speed no matter what position you are. Here's why I think that's bad. It's bad to be one-dimensional, obviously. But here's why I think it's really bad for this team and this team specifically.
Because it only clicks with one fucking quarterback. It cannot be transition between field general to field general.
No, because if they end up at 4, like you brought up, McDonald's fired. McDaniels is gone.
Yeah,
McDaniels is gone. And then when that happens, and a new coach comes in, and all you have is speed, and you bring in a banger.
Miami finds themselves in a very fucked up, interesting position because it's like you mentioned, McDaniels is on the hot seat. Tyreek's going to be fucking retiring after this season.
Here's the problem with new coaches. How many times do you see it where they fire a coach, and what do? They bring in the opposite, right? Could you imagine? Let's just take the fact that I know he's a coach right now, but let's just take the fact that he's a coach right now. Could you imagine the style of Vrabel being injected into that team with the roster they got? It won't work. So I'm just saying,
it would never work.
I'm just saying if you bring anyone that is heavy like that or whatever the case may be, this offense won't work. Tua can end up working with different things, with the rest of it won't.
Miami plays a very sleek, like Formula One style of like football, like you mentioned, like with like the speed. They want to finesse you down like the field, like that's their thing. They want to try and beat you with high powered offense. Which I mean, it's Golden State. It's Golden State, except when the 3 doesn't fall for them.
They're the offensive version of the Steve Spagnuolo NASCAR Giants defense.
Yep. Live by the 3, die by the 3. It's going to come back and bite you in the fucking ass. I mean, look,
we can't forget they're probably the 70 points on the Broncos.
They're probably the most unpredictable middle of the pack team in the AFC. They're the 49ers of the AFC. Where like the 49ers, like, I don't know what the fuck they're going to be for the NFC next year.
Look where their head coach came from.
I rest my case.
There's only one player on that team right now that I want.
Chan.
Mm-hmm. And I'll take Tua in like a 2. But in the super flex, if I had him as my 2, I'd be happy.
Yeah, this year's gonna be super intriguing. Like it's I love how like the episodes like over the last couple of weeks are like progressing. So like we're getting more into like we're starting to get into fantasy stuff. We're starting to the brain's starting to like tick a little bit more.
I'm thinking about it. I have Tua in the dynasty league that me and you are in together. I got Tua and Knicks, the Universe League. I have Tua and Knicks in that one.
It's not a bad spot to be in, my friend.
No, that's not a bad combo with that league because that league changes rules every freaking year, and I don't know if I'm going to need 1 or 2.
2 exactly. Let's take a break from fantasy football. Let's take a break from draft talk. Let's take a break from NFL talk. We may or may not come back to it. I do want to touch on a couple of other topics here. Opening day was yesterday. It still is today. Opening day pretty much spans for about like a good like 2 weeks. Yeah. Well, because like the Rockies, they don't get their opening day till next weekend. And thoughts, overreactions. It's looking like my Dodgers Orioles already after the first set of games is like really matching up. Like that futures bet is really starting to look like it could be a thing. But we're only 1 weekend in. What are your thoughts on the weekend so far?
I don't have a lot of thoughts in the sense of it's been one frickin' day, but I will say that people that think, oh, there hasn't been a lot of high-scoring games or blah, blah, and pitchers this, pitchers that. Come on.
Dude.
Do you see that video of a guy freaking that bet seven? Do you see the video of the freaking Marlins fan that bet under 7.5 strikeouts for freaking Skeens and then chanted overrated when he got pulled?
Oh my gosh.
Because he won his bet by a half a strikeout. But
Strikeout.
here's the thing. Pitchers are not stretched out yet. They won't, if they get a high pitch count, especially like Skeens being a strikeout pitcher, they're gonna get pulled. They might not get their 7-8 strikeout line right off the bat.
You're crazy.
May 1st, he's going to.
Dude, you're crazy be betting pitching lines opening day.
Oh.
Tell me you're a DJing without telling me you're a DJing. What the fuck?
I did UD pitching lines.
Hey, look, I'm not gonna hate on it. I gambled yesterday, but I mean, it was money lines. You know, it was money lines.
You know what?
Speaking of money lines, I would like to send a special fuck you to the Atlanta Braves for the way that they choked yesterday. That choke job yesterday. Look, the Padres are already in midseason fucking form because, like, that's the style of baseball that they play. They just come back out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like, I really thought the Braves, being the Braves, you know, like they were gonna hold it the fuck down. Like I was like, oh, this nail's in the coffin. And then I don't know what the fuck San Diego put in the Gatorade after the 7-inning stretch. But all of a sudden the bats woke up and ruined a bet. Ruined a fucking live bet, bro. 33% profit boost on that hoe down the drain. So that's my overreaction. The Braves are going to be fine. They're going to be an amazing team. But that hurt. I
do have something to vent about.
What do you have?
Okay. You know I'm a Dodger fan. However, being from California.
Hold up.
Being from California, and when I first started going to spring training, from 2003 to 2014 or 15, 16, I went to spring training in Arizona every year. And then when I first started going, the Dodgers were still out in Vero Beach.
Yeah.
So I started paying attention more to the minor leaguers and all that of the Angels. So I still follow both teams, like pay attention, you know, all that. I'm in not in Southern, but I'm a couple hours away. How the hell do you lose so bad to the Chicago freaking White Sox that in the 9th inning on opening day, you have to play a position player at pitcher?
Who?
The Angels did.
Oh, yeah, the Angels. I mean, you do realize,
this is the first time since opening day of 2023. How many seasons is that ago, Robbie? 2, right? 2 full seasons. That the White Sox have been over 500 at all.
Okay, but the Angels are poverty.
Yes, but the White Sox broke a record last year twice.
Hold on. The White Sox are even more poverty. The White Sox are like shithole country fucking poverty.
But that's my point.
But like, dude,
third world country lost a fourth world country.
No, okay. So yes, that dude. Can we put out the graphic? Fucking free Mike Trout. Like free Mike, bro. Free Mike. Oh, and then also Toronto fans that were like fucking going crazy yesterday at the bar that I was at. Canadians, relax, guys. I get it. You lost the Drake beef. You'll be fine when it comes to the Blue Jays. You guys just dusted the fuck out of the Orioles today. All right? A bounce back happens. Right now, the Dodgers are down 2-0 to the Tigers. Detroit, St. Pat, don't get ahead of yourselves. We will boat race you like the Commanders in the divisional round. Don't worry. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to fucking do that. I could have let that be. Something that I didn't have on my bingo card in 2025.
Don't talk about my son.
You knew exactly where I was going. LeBron James, Bronny James, and Stephen A. Smith are in a legitimate beef. Like a legitimate beef. This beef has now gone to where LeBron has gone on Pat McAfee. Stephen A. Smith is on his podcast trying to defend himself and calling LeBron a liar and saying that LeBron didn't attend Kobe's ceremony, which he did. All this other shit.
Call fact checking, sir.
Yeah. Well, Stephen A. did not fact check a damn thing. And he was like, he didn't go to fucking, what was it? It was like a different ceremony that was on the same night that like Bronny had like his triple bypass surgery, like a lot of fucking crazy shit, right? Thoughts on this beef? This was the beef that we didn't know that we needed. Like, it has ignited the memes that I didn't know that I needed. It's ignited like the reels and TikToks that I didn't know that I needed. Your thoughts? I didn't know that I needed to see Stephen A. Smith get abused by the internet to make my day go by.
I don't care as much about this as other people, and I don't care.
But it's funny.
No, it is funny. But here's one thing I saw. I forget who it was that posted it, and I was going to bring up the fact about the not fact checking because that was one of my biggest takeaways. A journalist needs, like, you think of all people that I could see LeBron making that mistake accidentally before Stephen A. just from what his job entails. However, here's the other thing that I find funny about LeBron. Where you said he went and spoke out. And that was the Pat McAfee show.
And you went to this man's colleague?
That's the hilarious
brought on to ESPN?
That's the funny part is it was like going to the principal's office and ratting out another teacher.
Was it? I feel like it was just being petty. I feel like it's when because like if you remember they were cool. They used to be cool. Cool.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, it's like going to the principal's office and talking about another teacher to a teacher. Like, or going to not the principal's office. It's like talking to another teacher about another teacher. You're literally talking shit to Pat about his colleague on that channel.
It's like breaking up with your ex and then going to mess with their best friend and then talking shit about your ex to the best friend and your best friend sharing that same vitriol with you.
Okay. But
whole time still being best friends.
Yeah. But here's what I want to bring up, and this has nothing to do with Stephen A. But it has to do with Pat.
What up, Drew? Drew, you missed it. I fucking drained a putt on live stream.
This is what I want to talk about, and it has nothing to do with Stephen A., but it does have to do with Pat McAfee. You know what was even funnier than him talking shit about Stephen A.? Was him talking shit about Brian Windhorst.
Yo.
This motherfucker acts like we're best friends.
Because, I mean...
I know, but it's funny.
Like, all right, so like let me play devil's advocate for 2 seconds, okay? As media, as someone that has had conversations with players, with agents, with publicists, etc., family members of players, you know, in my daytime job, I work with a player's very, very, very close relative. Very, 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 very close relative. I won't say what type of relative. I won't say what player. I won't say what team. I'll keep all that private. And we do take a certain level of pride when information is confided in us. It does kind of make us feel like, yeah, you know, we are homies. Yeah, we are cool. But I do get LeBron's standpoint. Like, this motherfucker acts like we best friends. You know, it's weird. It's weird because it's like on LeBron's side, it feels like there's some rap cap to this. Where it's like, bro, you do go to these reporters. We've seen you chill with Stephen A. You and Stephen A have been cool. Stephen A's been on your podcast. He's been on what is it, the barbershop podcast of the boardroom or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Like, you know, like this has been a thing. You guys have bantered back and forth. Many takes have been said about Bronny, and not just by Stephen A. Bronny has been covered since he was at Sierra Canyon. Bronny has been a pivotal figure, although not a professional athlete. He has been a pivotal figure in athletics, especially when we talk about the world of NIL and, you know, how that shapes up. And, you know, when we talk about covering, we have seen him and LaMelo and Zion all play against each other and like all kind of come up in this same era and generation with just a couple of years difference. Your son has had the spotlight on you since the beginning, brother. Now, as a father, you talk about my son, I might be liable to want to fucking come and put the paws on you. But your son is also a professional athlete now. Your son is also a social media personality. Your son, even before basketball, was getting FaZe Clan video game money. Yep. Signed one of the biggest gaming contracts in the history of professional esports.
As an amateur.
As a manager. I'm sorry, but you are going to be placed underneath the eye of scrutiny when you are on that level. And then when you now couple that simultaneously, I'm about to give Bronny some props. When you now couple that simultaneously with this little motherfucker starting to do good at the game of basketball, he's starting to put up points. It's not on a consistent basis to where it's like Bronny's must-see TV, but it's starting to get to the point where it's like, could he be doing this? Could he be developing? Is the development working? Wait. DeAndre Jordan got an opportunity in the league, in the G League, in the NBA, and he never put up 17 ever in a G League game or in an NBA game. He never put up 30 in a G League game. Are we seeing that Bronny can actually fucking play? So you couple that and what Bronny's been doing lately in with this whole beef, and it breeds more attention. It breeds this basketball is a weird sport because with basketball and Nepo babies, we treat basketball and Nepo babies very different. Whereas with football, we're like, it's in their bloodline. These guys are warriors. They're gladiators. They'll step out into the pantheon and ready to fucking go out there and draw blood. Whereas in basketball, we're like, DeAndre is never going to be Michael. Like, you might as well just go to France and stick coke up his nose. Is Bronny really going to be what LeBron was going to be? You know, rest in peace. But we were doing it with Kobe and Gianna. If Gianna was going to be able to be something in the NBA. Basketball and the way that we scrutinize Nepo babies is a very weird, polarizing topic for some reason in that sport. No one looks at Walsh Ali in the MMA and PFL and is like, he needs to fight like his dad. We're like, yo, we see flashes of Muhammad Ali, and we're like, And when Walsh knocks someone out, we're like, oh shit. You know, like that's Muhammad right there. You know, it's in other sports, the way that bloodline and pedigree is looked at is a little bit different. We give slack a little bit differently. Look at the way we looked at the Manning family. Look at the way we looked at the Watt family. Look at the way we looked at the Gronkowskis. Look at the way we're looking at the Sanders right now. I think that it's interesting. This is the beef that we didn't know that we needed. Steven, be ready to walk back your takes because Bronny's been playing different since this beef has been going. I don't know if he's playing different because of the beef. I don't know if he's playing different because he's now over the triple bypass and he's ready to actually fucking ball out.
I think it's just
something's happening.
I think
it's working.
Experience. Yeah.
Huh?
I think it's just the overall experience.
Yeah. I hope that Stephen A is ready to walk back his words. Stephen A, though, I still have respect for you. You've interacted with me before, 3 times through social media and shit. You know, so I appreciate you even acknowledging and knowing who the fuck we are. But this is not the hill to die on, bro. This is probably not the hill to die on. Get back in good graces with the James family. Because your whole career is based off of you talking about LeBron James, where my career is actually talking about fantasy football in the NFL. So I don't have to deal with the issues that you deal with. LeBron, if you ever want to come on the show and vent, we'd love to have you. Definitely your approachability and controversial ability helps you getting to know legitimate people of interest in sports and converse and interview them. I'm just excited to watch it come up. Appreciate it. Rich Gang. What up? Yes, RIP Young Scooter. RIP Young Scooter. Bro, Scooter had some hits too. Scooter had some hits. It's a fine line for sure. The nepotism is always scrutinized if they are good or bad either way. Exactly. I just think that it's an interesting dynamic how in basketball we look at nepotism, but then like in football or boxing or MMA or you know, even golf, how we're looking at Charlie Woods, like we're already looking at Charlie Woods and we're like, oh my gosh, you know, it's an interesting dynamic for sure. The way the NBA handles nepotism. I do want to get your reaction here. We are both fight fans, you and I respectively. You big MMA guy, me MMA and boxing guy. A couple of weeks ago, it was announced that Dana White and the Saudis are getting together to introduce a new boxing league. Okay. This league is aiming to pay fighters on a much more grand scale than their current promotions. This league is looking to, I'm going to say it because of what I feel of what it's trying to do is kind of trying to alienate and isolate the other promotions. And it's also to kind of tier out boxing and put the best fights forward for us. Duh.
Bullshit.
Dono hype.
Oh, damn it.
You know what that means, Mike. Shots.
I'm already out of the bottle.
Well, I just dropped the top.
Sorry.
Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rumboyz and girls. What it do? Dilly dilly. We love and appreciate all of you. Arrrr. Final topic of the night. So it's looking like that. This is interesting. I think the way that I want to position this is Dana White being behind it. A MMA mastermind who has found a way to diabolically disrupt the whole entire fight world with his style of putting cards together, with his style of of following the rankings of fighters and picking locations for fights, et cetera, the marketability of the sport, of just the UFC as a brand, taking that over to boxing, which is the competition that, in all honesty, he was really trying to kill off. And he'd always said that he was never really going to get into it. Now he's a part of it. What are your thoughts?
Okay. We're going to go back and forth a bit on this one, just the way we're going to do it. Money speaks. When it comes to that part, money talks. And when you have
it's Saudi money, it's Saudi money. Bro.
Well, but you have the Saudi money, but on top of it, it's not his money. And part of and what I mean by that is a lot of times when he wanted to do something in the past or whatever, he's got money involved. He's got more than just a title behind it. Now he's just got a title behind it in the sense of he's got Saudi money and TKO money, which is the parent company over the UFC and the WWE that are funding it. And then you got him and Nick Khan from the WWE that are going to run the day-to-day. And then Saudis are going to run in the background. So he hasn't – one of the reasons I think that he hasn't got into it is because he hasn't wanted to put his own money out on the front as in case it fails. Like you said, in case it does fail, he hasn't wanted to put his own cash on the line. Well, he's not putting his own cash on the line. He's just going to reap the benefits of it in other ways. The
but
one
he's
thing
also
that
a marketing genius.
Well, here's the thing, and this is what I was going to bring up. Yes, we still got to deal with the whole, and this is the one thing that I don't like about boxing, and I know you don't like it either, but it's one of the things that is one of the reasons we can't get casuals into boxing as much as you can get casuals into other things. WBO, WBA, IBO, you're like, if all this, and then, I'm not going to fight this guy because he has this belt, and I'm not going to fight him unless he gives me his belt. But no, we're fighting for this belt, but we're not fighting for this belt. So the guy still gets his ass kicked, but walks out with a belt. Okay? Obviously, some of that's still going to happen because you're not going to be all unified. But here's the thing. No one in that organization, whoever signs up, is going to be able to duck a fucking fight.
But then that's what I'm really getting at here is, and I do want to disagree a little bit. I think that this now, slowly but surely, within the next 3, I can see this happening as fast and aggressive as 3.
What, unify?
But we see it really start taking place by like the 5-year mark, where the other promotions begin to struggle. You mentioned Khan, you mentioned WWE, you mentioned, you remember the old school WWF days, WCW days, where those were like the 2 big promotions, but then you also had like the other wrestling promotions. And then eventually, because of the progression of technology and everything, WWF was able to cannibalize everything and then became the WWE, to where now you have, the WWE, and you have the AEW and like smaller promotions, but they're not as prevalent.
You have AEW, TNA, and MLW.
Same thing with UFC, where you have the UFC, but there's Bellator, there's one there,
PFL.
Yep, PFL, but there's I think that we see that now happen with boxing. I think that it now becomes, you want to come get a payday? Not only are you going to get a payday, but like the UFC, we're putting you on contract. You can't go to another promotion. Terrence, you're not going anywhere. Canelo, you're not going anywhere. Shakur, you're not going anywhere. Tank, you're not going anywhere. Iwanu, you're not going anywhere. And I think that this now brings boxing back into its rightful place. And I'm not going to say that its rightful place necessarily should be the forefront, because MMA has taken over so hugely worldwide. It is more worldwide digestible, I feel, at this point.
The other thing that I think
put boxing back in its prime era.
The other thing that I think is hard for casuals to gather and I know me and you I know you 100% agree, but there's no way around it. One of the things that is hard for this generation of people in general, and I'm talking all the way from boomers to Gen A's, whatever. I'm just saying the people that are around these days.
Yeah.
Is the amount of freaking weight classes. But you can't get around it because you can't have in boxing, you can't have a 145 box of 180. But in MMA, it's 170 or it's 180. Here's the biggest one. In the MMA, it's 205 to 265. If you weigh at 205, you're a light heavyweight. Heavyweight can go from 205 to 265. 170 to 185. In boxing, I don't remember the exact numbers, but you have like 170, 176, 181, 185.
Yeah.
Like having so many, you have junior welterweight, you have welterweight, you have super welterweight, you have micro
It's
welterweight.
that way for a reason because of.
I know it's definitely that way for a reason.
Because of the impact of the sport, etc. You have to have more, weight classes. I'm just excited to see where this can go, and with the minds behind it, behind the scenes, I think that we finally start seeing good, legendary fights again. That's not to say that some of the fights we've been getting spoiled with over the last 5 to 6 years haven't been legendary. I've appreciated Tyson and Wilder. I've appreciated Tank Garcia. I've appreciated Garcia versus Haney. I think that it's time that we scrub the sport, we clear it the fuck out, we redo it the right way, we get rid of the mafia money that's been behind it for fucking years and years and years and years.
For it to happen the way you're bringing up about all the other ones struggling and it being totally reinvented, like you brought up the WWE was back in the day. I'm not saying that's not possible, but with the amount of money that's being thrown around in all those organizations, I don't think it's 5 years down the road. I think that's 10, 15 years down the road. And that's the problem.
It's an uphill climb for sure. It's an uphill climb for sure. If you could change something weight regulation wise, what would you do to enhance it? I would probably go ahead.
No, I don't know. That's the problem.
For me personally, from not talking MMA, MMA has it figured out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But, their sport also has a lot of different dynamics that
not just punches to the
science wise,
and not just punches to the face. That's the other issue.
With boxing, I don't think that's a weight regulation thing that I would necessarily make, but I would put more, from a marketing standpoint, I will put more push on the heavyweight fights, and to match make those more often than not. Even though that's a harder weight class for those guys to go out there and fight, that is in the sport of boxing, not MMA, but boxing that brings in the fucking money. Heavyweights are for the fans. So I would probably try and find more ways to push the heavyweight division in terms of marketability, star power. Maybe I start getting these fighters better agents that can market them a better way, build up their social media more, etc.
Well, and that's what I think Dana will do the best.
I think Dana and Khan hand in hand are this thing is going to get big real fucking quick. We are going to get into the final report of the night because we just have a little bit of time left here. As things stand right now, Tennessee moves on to the Elite Eight. Michigan State moves on to the Elite Eight. Right now, Purdue and Houston are playing. Just 3:16 remaining in the first half of that game. Michigan Auburn is going down right now. 19-35 in the second. In that game, 1 point spread with Auburn up 30-29. Making up the remainder of your Elite Eight, these games closed out yesterday. Florida over Maryland, Duke over Arizona, Alabama over BYU, Texas Tech over Arkansas. as things stand right now, the Rumboyz Fantasy Network is 100% as we get ready to exit the Sweet 16 and head into the Elite 8. Pending the 2 games that are playing right now between Purdue and Houston, Michigan and Auburn, we are 100% exiting this round. We do have one bracket that is 95% correct. That bracket is for $300. Make sure that you guys are staying tuned in. Make sure you guys are standing by and supporting, because I'm going to be providing updates throughout the week next week as we get into the real fucking thick of things. College basketball bets we punish. I put belt to ass when it comes to college basketball. You need me, let me know. DM me, let me know. There may not be a single perfect bracket remaining. We have a 95% bracket remaining. I'm pretty fucking good at this. So, just want to throw that out there. Any final thoughts, Mike?
No. The only final thought about the tournament that I was going to bring up, I would rather not, because I don't want to jinx anything.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to go too much into the tournament because I'm like, I have live bets.
There's something that there's something that could happen that would be very interesting for the next round, but I don't want to say a word about winners or losers.
Yeah. We're gambling. There's no need to call us bad luck.
Exactly. So I'm not dumb.
1-800-GAMBLER if you have a problem. 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a problem.
You should call that.
Fuck you.
I was joking. I wouldn't say that on camera like that. I would be joking.
You want to bet me? You want to bet me $10 Cash App for a putt before we get off stream?
No.
1-800-GAMBLER
Anonymous.
Are you playing the scramble in August in Ohio when we do the expo?
No. I might go, but I'm not going to play.
I'm going to play the scramble. I'm flying my clubs out.
Yeah, I think it's Friday.
Black guy on a golf course, Gotta represent. Gotta add some color to that shit.
In Ohio.
In Ohio, exactly. Gotta be careful. Might get hung. I'm dead. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rumboyz Fantasy Network, the most unhinged sports network that there is on all social media, on the whole internet. Check us out, YouTube and Twitch. Like, comment, subscribe. Give us a follow. We greatly appreciate you. We love and appreciate you. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. All the Rumboyz and girls, what to do. Dilly dilly. We outie.